In this video, I am going to provide practical steps to help you overcome your fear of failure and make progress towards achieving your goal. Whether your goals are small or your goals are big, you can make it happen. We've all had dreams. We've all had these great ideas. But for some reason, we don't make them happen. The reason we don't make them happen really isn't the lack of resources or the lack of knowledge. It's actually the presence of fear. We're afraid of, what if it doesn't work out? What if it fails? What if I lose everything? Really, the question is, will you really lose everything? And if it doesn't work out, is it really as bad as you're making it out to be in your head? Let's talk about this today and let me help you overcome these fears. So the big drivers behind the fear of failure is embarrassment. Embarrassment of you tried something and it didn't work, and now your friends and family will make fun of you. Well, maybe those aren't the best friends. Maybe you don't have a supportive family, but maybe you're actually just making this out to be far worse than it's going to be. If we fail, we are afraid we're going to lose our self-esteem. Or maybe you have failed and have lost some self-esteem, so you're afraid to try again. Maybe you feel inadequate. Maybe you feel like your dream is beyond you and you don't have the knowledge to do this. And who do you even think you are, thinking that you could accomplish such a dream? All of these are just things that we make up in our head. And we just blow them up out of proportion into something far bigger than they really are. Fear can be so paralyzing because when we make up this story of how bad a failure or a potential failure could be, it causes us to stop moving forward in any direction at all. It paralyzes us to never take action. The thing is, then we start looking around at others who have been successful and we say, if only that could have been me. Or what a great idea that was. I wish I had done that. Or I had originally come up with that idea. I could have made millions. The problem here is we talk about could-haves and we look at other people. We can be successful ourselves. You can be successful. The difference between somebody who is successful and you right now is the fact that they were willing to take the risk. They were willing to step forward. They were willing to take the challenge of doing something. It's time to let go of that fear. It's time to stop being paralyzed and take little steps forward. Grab a piece of paper. This is an exercise that I think is well worth it for you to actually do. Grab a piece of paper. Go ahead and pause this video if you have to. Grab that piece of paper. Now that you have the piece of paper and a pen, I want you to write down what your goal, what your idea, what it is that you want to start, what it is that you want to do. I want you to write it down. All right, now that you have that written down, I want you to write down your fears. Your fears on why you can't do this. Is it financial instability? Is it you could lose a fortune? You could lose everything. You could lose your family. What is it? What are the fears? And there may be more than one. There may even be 10. Go ahead and write down all those fears. Let's identify them. Let's put them on paper. All right, so now at the top of the paper, you should have your goal or the business you want to start. Now you should have your fears written out. Maybe one, it may be 10. Hopefully not more than 10. Because that is extremely crippling to even have one or more. So hopefully not 10. But whatever those fears are, they're written out. All right, now let's move on from here. Now, next to each one of these fears, I want you to write the opposite of what it is. Right next to it. Go ahead. If it's financial instability, write financial success or extra money in the bank. Write the opposite of it down. I want you to see what the opposites of each fear are. I know this seems odd, but go ahead and do that quick. Pause the video if you have to. I want you to write the opposite of each fear. Now that you've written down each fear, you can see what the fear is doing and how it holds you back, and what the potential is and how it can move you forward. And I want you to know that failure is not actually the opposite of success. Failure is just a stepping stone towards getting what you want and moving on towards your goals. Thomas Edison is famous for saying every time he failed at something, he learned a new way that something didn't work. And inventing the light bulb, he went through over 1,000 failures trying to make a light bulb that actually worked. And what he did was he learned every time He tried something to make this light bulb that didn't work. He learned something that didn't work and came up with a new idea to try on how to make it work. So failure can actually be a very useful learning tool. It's not failure. It's not the opposite of success. It is a learning tool to help you achieve success. Now, you've got your goal written at the top of the page or the business that you want to start. You've got your fears written down one side. You've got your opposites of your fears on the other side. You see what could happen if it doesn't go well and what could happen if it does. Now, let's analyze this for a minute. Are those fears real? Well, they feel real to you, and your emotions are valid, but often your emotions lie to you. How realistic is it that all of these fears will actually happen? And how realistic is it that they'll be as bad as you made it out to be? Probably not as bad. Let's take financial insecurity, one of the number one things that appear on the list. Most of our goals don't start with an all-in mentality where we have to put everything in and hope for success. We can usually do stepping stones along the way so that we don't have that complete loss of every financial asset we have. No, we may lose a few dollars, but not much most of the time. So we can start to dispel some of these fears or see our fears are not as great as we think they are. They're actually lessened from what we really make them out to be. Now, to reach this goal or start this business, what are the steps that we need to take to get there? Sometimes we look at the big picture, the big goal, and we're paralyzed because it looks too big, too grandiose, or like too much to accomplish. None of my businesses did I start on day one as the success that they became. No, on day one, they started as what they were. A business that basically didn't exist with no customers that I had to go find to build it into a success. The same is true for your business that you want to start and any goal that you want to reach. It needs to start somewhere. Day one, it is not going to be that dream success. It is going to be an infant. It is going to start somewhere. The objective here is we have to realize everything needs a starting point in order to become successful. If we don't start, it can never happen. If it doesn't start, we'll never reach that goal. So now take that big picture goal, that business that you want to start. Let's write down some smaller steps that we need to take to get there. If we want to start that business, what are the things that I need to do to make that business happen? And what are the things that need to be done to make it successful? Let's write them down. Now, we start with number one on that list. We take one step. One step towards that goal. One step towards starting that business. We accomplish that step. We have a win. We did something. Now, let's go ahead and take the next step. One more step, just one, and we slowly start making progress. We don't do all 10 steps or all 50 steps at once. No. We don't do that. We take one step at a time. With our list of steps written out, we have a roadmap that we can take to get there. And as we start to build this business or reach this goal or make progress, we may see some changes to the path that we need to make. And that's okay. You can do that. Nothing here is permanent. You can change what you've written down. Maybe you see that you need to pivot a little bit to reach that goal or start that business. Maybe something came up that you didn't realize was going to be in the path to you achieving that success. Go ahead, alter that path slightly. When you're walking through the woods and there's a rock or a log in your way, do you just stop and say, can't go on? There's a log or a rock in my way? No, you pivot a little bit. You go around it or you go over it. You find a way to keep going on that hike through the woods. So in real life, when you're trying to reach your goal, when you're trying to start your business, when there's a log or a rock in your way, you don't just stop and say, whoop, nope, can't do it. This business can't be done. This goal can't be achieved. No, you find a way around it. You may stop for a minute, analyze the situation. Okay, this log is really big. I can't pick it up and just move it. I will either have to go around or go over. What makes the most sense? Well, there's a poison ivy patch over here, so I don't want to go around that way. There's no poison ivy over there, so I could go that way. And the log isn't that big, so I could actually just step over. Actually, why don't I just do that? Let me just step over. Oh, wait, maybe. Hold on. Let me think for a second. Yeah, let's do that. Let's just step over and keep on going. See how easy that can be? You can stop and think for a minute about what your best path forward is. But when there's an obstacle in the road, when there's a change we didn't expect, that doesn't mean we just need to stop and give up. We need to keep moving forward to achieve our goal, to achieve our dreams, to reach that level of success that we know we can do. Take a minute and think, just think, what would it look like if I were successful? What would it look like if I achieved my goal? What would it look like if my business idea got off the ground and got running and became what I dream it to be? What would that look like? Without a dream, there's no reason to start. Build that dream. You can do this. I know you can do this. It just takes one little step at a time, one forward step at a time. And every time a curveball is thrown or a roadblock goes up, you stop. You think, what's my way around this? What's my way through this? What is my path forward? My path forward wasn't exactly what I thought it would be, but there is still a path forward. You can make yourself step forward, or you can allow yourself to stop and give up and say, success isn't for me. And that's just a lie you tell yourself. Success is for you. You just need to take the steps to make it happen. Nike came up with the slogan years ago, just do it. That was because they realized for people to achieve their athletic goals, they needed to start. They needed to just do it. They needed to stop putting obstacles in their way, or they needed to start finding ways around their obstacles and just do it. Just go out there, just do it. Take one step, put one foot in front of the other. I know you can do this. I believe in you.